Okay,
why it began.
so
Traffic. It's all around traffic.
Okay, we were talking about this in the car, so we need to re-talk about it.
Okay.
But I so I feel like it kind of got inspired by like so Nico, he was in YCP, which is Young Catholic Professionals.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'd love to talk more about that.
Yeah, and so I think you're still involved in it.
Yes, I'm kind of stretched thin right now, so I haven't been as involved as I would like to be, but I'm still.
Yeah, so like when I first started like getting involved in the Catholic circle, which is like when I first started, I guess, being like discovering my faith, which was like I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was like somewhere around
2022.
Yeah.
2023. Yeah, 2022, 2023.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's when I was like, oh, like, you know, I've discovered this new world of Catholic events and young Catholics and X, Y, and Z. So I was like really intrigued by it. And so Nico had invited me and some friends to go to this YCP event that he was organizing. And this really kind of, for me, like inspired me. And I think, but I don't remember if by then I had a young adult ministry by then or I think it was later.
Yeah, I think at that point we had started, because like with the young adult ministry at St. Mark was kind of how it first started getting rolling. Mm-hmm. And even that didn't start off right away. It started off as just like a choir.
Yeah.
Where's St. Mark?
In Venice.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's I like to market it like this. It's the only Catholic church in Venice because Venice is small. So
nice. Easy.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I was kind of inspired by like your involvement in YCP and just in the church community in general, and so I was like, we need more young adult stuff, and so I started a young adult ministry at St. Mark. Mm-hmm. And that kind of took a year to actually, you know, officially happen.
What did that look like? Weekly meetings, monthly meetings?
Monthly. So it was like a monthly Bible study right before. So it was like a Friday Bible study. And then the next day would be the Vigil Mass. And we would have like a Vigil Mass the 4th Saturday of each month.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. And so that's when we had our choir and Nico lectors.
Nice. Yeah. You want to sing a few bars for us? Just give us a C scale.
Yeah. I don't have perfect pitch, so I can't really.
I know. Our choir director, he has perfect pitch. He could do
that. Oh, yeah, for sure. My roommate now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
awesome. Okay,
yeah.
So choir, lecturing.
Yeah, so, and so we kind of started off with a choir, and then we led into a young adult ministry, and it kind of grew from there. And then, you know, we were kind of like the only ones like leading it. And it was kind of a lot on us too. Like I felt like there has to be a way, like a resource for us to connect with other people. And I at this point I was really getting involved in the young adult ministry community. So I was starting to go to other churches and like other young adult ministry events, other parishes. And I noticed that there's like a lot of young adults, they stay within their little bubbles. And they stay in their little parish communities. And it's like, how can we find a way to meet everyone at once and meet all of our parish neighbors? Like, you know, we're only like a couple miles away from each other. You know, how can we find a way to like be connected? And I remember we would talk about like West LA Catholic ideas because, you know, he was in YCP and, you know, YCP for LA, the LA chapter covers like all of LA County, which is huge. So big. And so, you know, I'm not trying to go to San Bernardino after work during the weekday, like for an event. It's just like, but I'll go to the ones in West LA and cause you know, that'll be a lot shorter of a drive and a lot less time in traffic. And so Nico was always like, yeah, like, you know.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that we noticed too, like just being in YCP, because how big LA is, you have like the Valley, you have like the East Side, you have the West Side, you have South Bay, and so we noticed that the areas that got the most turnout was in West LA, and so that just by
interesting.
Yeah, so just by default, like a lot of our events ended up in like Venice, Santa Monica.
Is it because there's Hollywood. A larger demographic of young adults there? It's more of a young adult hub.
I'm not really sure.
I have a theory. I think it's because. I think it's because we don't really have a big young adult community in West LA. Like, in San Bernardino and all those other places, they're on fire. They have a bunch of stuff going on all the time. So when you throw an event in West LA, there's less competing events. Mm-hmm. And I think like young adults, we're always looking for something. West LA in particular is very broken and kind of crazy and lost. And so like when you have something that's fulfilling, people are searching for that. And there's not a lot of resources or events in West LA, period. And I think like, St. Monica's, they have a huge turnout every single week. They have like
I have heard so much about so many rumblings about St. Monica's young adult
and
ministry.
it's because they're like the only ministry in West LA that does something every single week and is a young adult ministry, like, and so that's why they have such a big turnout. And then recently American Martyrs started doing a Bible study, and that's a little south, but they also started getting a huge turnout because they're doing something once a week as well. And so it's like you realize like people are searching. There's just nothing there to support that search. And so I think that was my theory as to why there's such a big turnout in West LA, is because there's just simply not enough in West LA.
There are a lot of churches, at least, and that's what kind of impressed me when because I fell away from the faith for a while. And then when I came back, I was living in West LA, and there was just like all these different churches to pick from. So I go to each one, and then like it just so happens that St. Joan, where I ended up, it's like the ministry director there, Becky, she like fished me out, like because I was one of like the few young people there. The demographic there is like older, like grandparents and all that. So I stuck out like a sore thumb, and she was like, "You do music, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I play music." And she was like, "Oh, you should do our music ministry." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, and then she was like, "I'll she was like, "Oh, let me get your information so we can keep in touch, right?" And I was like, "Okay." So then she hands me like the bulletin, and on the back it says like parishioner registration, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna register here yet. Like I'm still trying to." And she was like, "Oh no, that's just so I can keep, so we can keep in touch, right?" And then so I filled it out. Next thing I know, I'm getting like the envelope. I was like,
"Ah, trap, she got you." Dude. She's like, "I just want to keep in contact."
Yeah,
you're ours now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like getting the envelopes. I'm like, okay, I guess it's my parish now.
That's funny.
But until then, I was going to like St. Monica's, I was going to St. Sebastian, St. Anne's, like all within that small area. And so there's a lot of just it's amazing how many churches there are in like a small area. So that was kind of the thing. We were like, wow, like they're so close to each other. Like,
but we all don't really know each other. Like this is the thing.
Yeah.
And like I remember when we were one time we were on the phone, and I was like, by this time I already kind of had started the young adult ministry at St. Mark. And I was like super impressed by all these different church communities and young adult ministries in West LA. And I was like, Nico, we need to have like a West LA Catholic ministry where we like an event. I think I said like just an event where we just like all meet each other. And you were like so on board because you're like, yeah, because for YCP, like I'm always trying to get the president to have the events in West LA, and because there's just not enough out here. And so then that was where the seed planted, because I think it was like a year later, like after those like conversations, is when we're like, okay, we're gonna do something. And so we had a bonfire where so at the time I was working at my parish, which is kind of how this all like sparked.
And that's St. Mark's, so that's a different parish.
St. Mark, yeah. And that's kind of like also what made me like reconvert back to my faith and take it seriously, was like realizing like, oh shoot, like this is the way of life that I actually want to live. So anyways, so I remember I was like at work, and like, you're supposed to be working on things, but I'm like over here working on like a side mission. I'm like calling. And so I'm like at work, and I'm calling all these different parishes in West LA, and I'm like, hey, do you guys have a young adult ministry? And if so, like, who's the leader, and can I get in contact with them? And so then they would send me like emails and numbers that I can call. And so I somehow got a hold of like all the young adult ministry leaders at different parishes in West LA. And then from there, I was like, you guys, like, we need to do an event. Like, I really want to do this event. Like, it can be a bonfire. It could be super easy. We could have like, I just kind of was pitching an idea, like maybe we do a rosary and then a bonfire, and we just all meet up and just meet each other. And everyone was on board. And then it really worked. It turned out really amazing. Like for our first year, we had like, I don't know, maybe 60 to 70 people.
I think it was just under 100, I want to say.
Yeah, it was like under 100.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, people were like, we need to keep doing this. And, from that year to, so I was like, yeah, we need to keep doing this West LA ministry thing, but then it was on a pause because I just feel like life got busy and messy. And then, once because we did it in September last year. So once September was coming, I was like, okay, guys, if we're going to do this event again, we need to start planning now because, and if you don't want to help me plan it, it's cool. We just won't do it. And if you do, cool, let's do it. Because I don't want to do this alone. Like, I'm not going to do it alone. And suddenly, the young adult leaders were like, I can't do it, but I'll refer someone who can do it. And next thing you'll have this like new group of young adult ministry leaders who are like more on fire than ever. And I'm like, whoa, it's so cool to like meet other young adult like ministry leaders who are more on fire than me. Like, just like everyone is so passionate about the work that they do at their own parish, and being able to like bring that into something that's gonna connect like on a regional level in a sense, was so beautiful, and I still love working with them. And so we put together this bonfire again, and like for the second year we doubled in like attendance.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and ever since then we were like, okay, we're gonna like finalize this thing. So we created the Instagram. We created Instagram before the bonfire to lead up to like kind of advertise for it. And then like with the Instagram, we have a lot of things in mind that we want to continue. Like, I don't know. Do you want to talk about?
Say more. Dive into the weeds. What do you mean?
Oh, just like the stuff
Like future things, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
Or what you're doing now on Instagram and what you want to do in the future.
Yeah, so like right now on Instagram, we just post like the monthly calendar events. And we're also trying to just post more in general about like things that we're doing, or like highlights for the different parishes, and updates, maybe local news updates, and stuff like that. Like for example, one of the girls that's in our ministry, she used to work at Fox, and so I was like, okay, you used to work at Fox, like, okay, we're gonna have you do this skit where you're like gonna pretend you're doing a report, and you're like coming up in West LA.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. And so like I was like, okay, now say this and do that, and she was flawless. I mean, we took a few takes, but no one needs to know that. And it came out so good, and from that video, I think like we had so many young adults show up to that mass.
Yeah.
Like it was so, but people I've never seen before, like people from OC and stuff.
That's so great.
Yeah, and so I was like, I want to do more of this little segment, and so we're just trying to have more, because we all work full time, so it's like trying to find an opportunity to like get together and like create this content, and continue posting and continue making this a resource and a space. And we're getting new people like that, like new parish leaders that want to join our ministry and join the community so that their church can be represented as well. And so it's just growing. And there's other like San Bernardino and like other parts of LA County, I guess, that want to join. But we're like, but this is like specifically West LA. Like the whole mission of this was like so that people don't have to drive super far. So we're thinking like maybe down the line, like there'll be chapters. We don't know how that would look, but like little pockets, because LA is just super huge.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and then we were talking about this in the car a little bit too, because at least my original idea of what was going to happen is just like, okay, we'll create a platform like an Instagram or something where it's just like a calendar, and it has the different parishes and their events, and you just put it on the calendar, that way people can see. It's like a one-stop shop for everything. And then every so often we'll get together like we did for the bonfire with the different leaders and like create like a joint event. And then there's like the nuts and bolts and all the operational aspects of that started to happen. It's like, oh, actually there's more stuff that needs to
that
be
it's more involved.
Yeah.
Like you're like, we're gonna do this, and then you're like, oh, this is a lot more than I signed up for.
You're like, I need someone to do this, that, this.
Yeah,
this.
now we have all these things that we need to cover, but like I think you don't really realize what you're getting into until like you get into it, and you're like, okay, that's why God wasn't telling me, because He wanted me to do it, so He wasn't giving you the full picture. But
we started pitching the idea of it being like a nonprofit, and I was like, wait, what? Do we need to go that far? Like,
I think
thought
we
it
do.
was just gonna, as things have developed, we like as she's explaining and giving me updates on all this stuff.
Yeah, so
I'm
I think
like,
we have a team. I think our team is like 10 of us or something, representing different parishes. And we're like and everyone is so like on fire, and so like I'm like, okay, now we should become a nonprofit. Like I low key pitched it. I was like, we should like low key like we should think about becoming a nonprofit because it'll be easier to get funding. And everyone was like, okay, when should we start applying? Like, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
great. And so so that's something that we're trying to think about and what that would look like, because you know, if we do become a nonprofit, we would kind of want it to be an umbrella for the opportunity of potentially opening it up to other chapters. So it wouldn't be called West LA Catholics, perhaps something else, like to be an umbrella. We also want to do a podcast, so that's something that we're working towards. And our deacon, the deacon at my parish, is like super on board. He has his own podcast as well, so he's like,
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
convenient.
so he's like, you could borrow my equipment for the first season, and I was like, great.
Yeah.
How long is the first season? 2 years? Cool, thanks. Appreciate you.
Yeah. So so we're excited about that.
So do you guys also post on, like, do you guys have like a website and things like that? Because like I know, like, so I'm off Instagram, like, so like that, like I'm not, I mean, I would love to come down to your guys' stuff, right? But like at the same time, it's like, how are you guys going about like putting it out into the community that's not on Instagram? Because I know a lot of Catholics are like getting off Instagram, which is one, it's beautiful because I look, Instagram's a cancer, like it's terrible. But like it is a real good source of information if you're willing to use it. But like, what are you guys doing to like put that out into the community, especially in West LA?
So we currently have a newsletter, and people who join our newsletter, right now we don't really have a link. I just kind of get their email and then I just add them to the newsletter. We're still working on some of the nuts and bolts. But like once a month, we'll send out a newsletter with everything, all the events that are coming out that month.
Awesome.
So like the calendar that we post on Instagram will also attach to the newsletter. We
Nice.
also want to come out with a website, so we're working on that as well. I haven't like started working on the website just because like I just don't know exactly if I should call it West LA Catholic. There's so many little nuts and bolts that I'm like, I just don't know.
So many things to bring to adoration.
Yes. So it's just a lot of things to think about. But yeah, we're those are all things that we're working towards.
One of the things, I remember when we first started, I was like, okay, we should get a mailing list because addressing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Get people's emails, and that way they can stay updated. So one of the ways that we did that at the first bonfire was...
This is really smart.
We had, so I'm also involved in Knights of Columbus.
Okay.
And so they have like at St. Martin of Tours, which is another church close in the area, they have like an annual wine tasting. And so they have raffles. So like people donate like, raffle baskets and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you could buy it. So what we did, I turned that idea over and we were like, okay, we'll make the raffle free, but they just have to put their email.
Dang. That's exactly what the lady did to you at the church. She's like, I just want your information. Don't worry. Got you right there.
Full disclosure, we're like, wait, if you want to be a part of the email list, like we'll throw you in the raffle. So I still owe you the series mailing list. So. Have like a cup at home with like all the papers.
Like typing them in. You're like,
I know.
Annual data exchange.
on the first year that we did it, he like put all the tickets in a bag, and I just remember like it was sitting in my purse for like months, like almost a year. Where we were like, I need to do this email list. And it was just we never did until like literally a couple months before our second event. Like our second annual event, I was like, okay, I need to do this email list and advertise it. And so that's what kind of like pushed, I think, is like also seeing everyone so like invested in this ministry and invested in West LA Catholics, like the whole team. I just can't talk like good enough about them. Like they're amazing. It just kind of makes me more fired up because even when I get discouraged or when I feel burnt out and then I have a meeting with them once a month and everyone's like, we should do this and this. I'm like, okay, yes, the fire's back. Like, we're good.
What do you see people desiring most in community? What events are churches hosting or people desiring? How do young adults want to connect these days? How do we want to connect?
Well, I guess my thought is that, and the beautiful thing about West LA Catholics too, is that built this thing with the idea and just kind of seeing how everything works out already too with all the ministries, the interactions that they have with each other, is that we're not in competition with each other. Like for the young adult community, there's a lot of needs, right? There's like prayer, faith formation, there's a social aspect, there's service. And so all these different ministries have like their bread and butter that they're good at. And so, like I would say for St. Mark's, we did a lot of social events as well.
Yeah, we did a lot of social events, Bible studies. I started the Bible studies because this was when I was first new to my faith, and I was quickly realizing that so many young adults just knew more than I did. And I was like, I should do a young adult ministry and have other people host the Bible study so I can learn from them.
It's like the same way the reason we teach confirmation is that we learn things.
Because I was like, so many devotions, so many facts, so many feast days. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, why don't I just like get all these young adults who are way more knowledgeable than I am, and I'll just learn from them. But
and then like at St. Joan, we have like a weekly prayer group, so we do all these like lesser known devotions, like the Holy Face, the Precious Blood, Flame of Love, all that.
And that's all in person, or this is
it's in person
over? Okay.
Yeah. And then like at St. Paul's, they have a monthly adoration. So that's awesome. Like every ministry is contributing something different, because it's like the faith is so rich, it's a bottomless well. And there's, for the young adult communities, there's so many different needs, you know. So
everything. I think like to answer your question, like what are young adults searching for in terms of events, I think it depends on the young adult and their journey. Like for the new young adult who's entering the church and fresh, they're looking for community. They're looking for events. They're looking for people who they can meet. Maybe they're looking for a husband or a wife and
Catholic match IRL.
And they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to this event and see if I find like cute girls and men. And,
of course. And how else are we supposed to find people?
But then they like, and then once they're like in it and they become part of the community, maybe they'll grow more in their faith, and they're like, I'm actually searching for something deeper, and they'll insert themselves into a prayer group or a Bible study, and they'll want to learn more and deeper. So I think it really depends on like where that person's faith is, their faith journey. And that's why like when we did the bonfire, we really tried to kind of include all aspects. Like, yes, this is social, but we also want to include like the rosary, and we actually started off with a mass, and then it was like a social, and then and then the rosary, and then the bonfire after during the rosary and after. And just to kind of show that, I feel like those are all kind of like beginner parts. Like the mass and the rosary, I feel like is like a good beginner entry level of faith and practicing your faith. And so it's kind of showing young adults like we're not only here just to socialize, but also to practice our faith and to do it publicly. And so I think we're kind of searching for everything, and we're trying to plan for another event in the spring. And we're starting our first meeting for this coming Thursday, so it's gonna be a long road. But we're planning a Eucharistic procession in Venice.
Well, that's awesome. That's pretty
great.
Because Venice is, Venice. I mean, I don't know if you know Venice.
I avoid Venice.
So, it has its personality, and we're trying to evangelize to that personality, and make a presence there, make Catholics, known and shown within that community. And I think like also like the emphasis is to show like, just imagine like a bunch of young adults in their 20s and 30s and like just marching down the streets and saying, I'm Catholic, down Venice, like. So I think, evangelizing and showing that young adults are part of a bigger picture, and can maybe inspire other young adults to be like, oh, this isn't just something that my grandparents did or my mom did. Like, this is something that I can do, And I think, like, as I was saying earlier to Nico, like, evangelizing to young adults to me is like, I'm very passionate about it, because yes, you can evangelize to kids and you can teach them the catechism and X, Y, and Z, but there's nothing like teaching to young adults, because the young adults are the future of the church. They're the ones who are going to be raising those kids. And there's nothing like the domestic church. There's no church like the domestic church. And so, you know, you can drop your kids off at catechism and they come home, and if that faith isn't practiced at home with those young adults, like it's just going to get lost along the way. So evangelizing to young adults, to me, is the future of the church.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we're kind of like very big on this.
I think something's interesting about like just that statement in general. Like I love that, like, you know, they're the future of the Catholic Church. But then I was listening to like some wise priest, I forgot who it was, you know.
There's so many of them.
There's so many. But like the way I like to think about it too is like they're not the future of the Catholic Church; they are the Catholic Church, right? And that's something I feel like that's something that needs to change. Like, you know what I mean? Because like
true.
you have like all these other people.
We're not
like,
done growing yet. We're not adults yet.
It's like, you know, you have that, and it's just like, oh, this is the future of the Catholic Church. It's like, okay, when are they the Catholic Church, right? When do you determine them to be the Catholic Church? It's like you have to, and like that's something I feel like that I got left out on, or like, you know, simultaneous. It's like, oh, you're the future of the Catholic Church. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, am I not part of this? Like, am I like on the outside? Like, what's going on? I was like, it's like, do I have to fight someone? To, you know? So, but I think that's I love the statement of that it's the future of the Catholic Church. But then I think it also needs to change to where you are the Catholic Church.
It is.
Right?
That's true.
Like, and I feel like that's something that like makes people think like, oh, like the Catholic Church is for old people. It's like, no, it's for you, right?
Yeah.
And like, so I feel like for like young adults, it's like, okay, you are the Catholic Church. It doesn't matter where you are in your walk of life. It's like, okay, like you are here. Like this is what needs to like, you know, find out or search for. It's like you are the Catholic Church.
That's so true.
So, but I like that because it's just, you know, for people who are coming in, it's like, okay, you are the future. It's like, okay, what does that look like? And then it's like, okay, now you are the Catholic Church.
Yeah, and there's no, like, deacon, he's always, like, the deacon at our church, he's always saying, like, there's no future, there's no past, it's right now. Like, the present is the only thing that's real right now. And that's true. Like, yeah, the Catholic Church, the young adults are the Catholic Church.
You can say it. No, I was just like, people know what you mean. I was just like, it was just something like I thought of, you know.
No, but it's true. Yeah.
So I also had another question. This is kind of going back. So you guys were saying, you know, you like, it's like depending on what young adults like, right? And when I turned 18, 19, they had a young adults ministry at my church. It was kind of like whatever, but it's like it kind of got like it kind of got branded as like Catholic match in real life. You know what I mean? And like for a lot of young Catholics, they're like, no, I don't want to go to that because it seems like, you know, a trap. So how do you guys, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, oh, we're not looking for that, or it's like a bunch of singles, and like that's awesome, right? And like as I got older, I got over it, right? It's like I'm there to learn.
Yeah.
But for someone who's like a young adult, is people say is 18 through 35, 18 through 39. It's like those 18-year-olds to like 23-year-olds, especially men, are just like, or you know, some women are just like, well, I don't want to go to that because I don't want to go to like Catholic speed dating, essentially, right?
You're
it's
looking,
like,
but you don't want people to know that.
And it's just like, you know, how do you guys keep it fresh? Because I looked at you guys' Instagram, I've seen it, it's beautiful, right? And like, it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting because it's like you have like those younger Catholics, and it's just like, I don't want to go this because that's kind of weird, or you know, like. So how do you guys keep it fresh to where it's like it is a social event, but then it's also like not pushing boundaries. You know what I mean?
And maybe I'll add on to that too, catering to both, like you're saying, it's where young adults are in all different places. So how can you create an event or a series of events that are catered to both those who are searching for their faith, so a very welcoming atmosphere, and for those who are devout in their faith and really just want to dive deeper into theology, into faith formation.
Yeah.
How can we capture all that in one event or one program?
Yeah.
Well, I'll start off, and I'm gonna pass it to Sam. But I'm gonna send her out on you right here. One of the first meetings that we had when we started Vivatus, the St. Mark ministry, we went to a restaurant and we were like, okay, like let's get all of our ideas together. And credit to Sam, she's very organized. She's very like, she's very organized and just has like this big picture, and she knows how to like organize those ideas into things. And so like she came with this plan already, and we started typing it out, and she was like, I have this idea of like, if we're gonna start a ministry, we need to have like a purpose and a mission, and then that way it kind of guides everything that we do. And so, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't looked at the document in a while, but
I know, I haven't either.
But there was a big thing about like the pillars, right? And so the pillars were faith formation, service, and social social events, right?
And then like prayer is gonna be on the foundation of all of those events. So like I remember at first it was like prayer, you know, faith events, and then socials and like, you know, church events or whatever. And then I showed this to my deacon and he was like, prayer should be in all three of the events.
For sure.
And then, you know, and then you can kind of categorize how you want. And I really liked that advice because it's true. I think a lot of times we get lost in our purpose, and you know, a lot of times people do show up with the intention of just to mingle and socialize and find a match. And I think like kind of and that does happen, and I see it in a lot of events and ministries. And you know, that's fine, but I think like how can we keep it fresh in the sense of having events where that's not the premise? I think it just comes down to like, I think that's a good question. I feel like your prayer group is very like, it's obvious that we're not here to mix and mingle. We're here to like pray and like devote ourselves. I think like Nico started a men's prayer group. How long ago? Like,
that was probably late 2023, early 2024.
Nico, what don't you do?
I know,
literally. I think that's one of my weaknesses. Is I just like get an idea and I'm like, I'm gonna go for it, and then I just like speak myself.
That's not a weakness, dude. That's a strength. What are you talking about? That's like, that's admirable. That's a strength.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
ICP travel, like does pilgrimages, started a young adult ministry.
Yeah. I guess going back to your question about that, I'm going to reference the Everetts because they've been a big influence on me. But they say that, like, yeah, obviously it's important that for young adult ministries, that's obviously one of the things, right, is you want to meet someone that could be your spouse or find your vocation. Real quick side tangent. Our St. Mark ministry has produced 5 vocations. Right?
So 2 engagements and 3 seminarians.
Dang!
And I'm like, and I tell the vocations director, I'm like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm like, because of us, you get 3 seminarians.
Yeah.
And then they all at the same time, like 2 people got engaged and 2 more people into a seminary because we already had a seminarian, all in like the same summer. And I was
that's
like,
amazing.
I was like, that's beautiful. Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, tangent off on purpose.
Yeah. Take
but
credit.
Throw it out there to support the bigger thing. And it's like when you're looking for a spouse, the way that Jason says it, is that you think of it like a marathon. So you're at the start line, you look to your left, you look to your right. It's like everyone who's in the race is right there next to you. But then as you go on in the race, right, that's your pursuit with your relationship with God. And as you're going, as time goes on in the marathon, you're going to see that people start to drop off. But your focus is on that relationship with God. And as you're going, you're going to start looking to left and right, and it's going to be less and less people until that point where it's like, okay, I see this person's keeping up with me in terms of the direction of my relationship. And so in that sense, when you put your relationship with God in the focus of the events and the ministry, like everything else comes.
Yeah, and I think I think also in terms of trying to narrow down to like, this is, you know, we're not trying to find our spouse and we're just trying to grow in our faith. I think something that came to mind is like family, like, you know, and there's a series one summer when we had Bible studies every week. And in the summer, and it was like very outdoorsy and we were homey, and like the people who showed up, we became a family. And I think like when that happens, you're no longer searching for a spouse and seeing who are the fresh new faces.
Yeah.
You're showing up because you're like, I want to keep learning. And it's just that consistency and cadence of building a family. It's like, you know, you're not going to want to marry your cousin. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Okay, this may be Ventura, but we're not Ventura anymore, okay?
But yeah, so I think it's just like building the relationships, and you know, like I've grown so close with like the seminarian friends and like learning from them, and like just like even like all the men and women that are in our group and in our circle. It's so beautiful to see how informed they are in their faith and like devout, and it's inspiring. And I think like having those people, they just, you know, not only attracting them, but like seeing them grow just makes, I don't know, I think the newcomers kind of see that, and then it kind of makes like sets the tone.
Would you say that in your own faith journey, that community was an important aspect?
Oh, yeah.
For both of you, of either reversions or wanting to dive deeper into your faith?
Yeah. To me, it was, like, community was how I reverted back. Like, you know, I didn't really know much about. I was telling Nico, like, I had wild ideologies because when he was starting the men's Bible study, the men's group, he was like, you should do the women's group, and I was like, I don't know, I have a lot on my plate because I just started the young adult ministry at St. Mark, and I was like, I have a lot on my plate, like, I don't know if I could do that right now, and he was like, you're like, you can just read books and, like, you'll figure it out, and I was like, I don't know, and it's a good thing I didn't, because back then, looking back, like, I was really not qualified, and, like, looking back, like, I probably would have given those women, like, bad advice. Like, I don't even think I really knew how to fully pray a rosary on my own. Like, I had crazy ideologies that are not really in line with the Catholic faith. And so, like, you know, I think God was like, you can do the ministry because you'll have eyes on you to fact check you.
You'll be watched.
But, like, a women's Bible study, I don't think you should do that yet. And so, yeah, I think it kind of worked out for the better in that way. But I don't know what was the question.
How much did community, what impact did community have in your own faith?
Yeah, and so, like, starting the ministry and, like, you know, going to events and then starting a community of my own, I think completely, like, it kept me accountable, for one. It, like, you know, seeing other people so devout, I was like, okay, I need to fact check myself. I need to make sure that even though maybe I don't like a certain thing that the church is teaching, how can I teach myself to, like, understand it more? And why don't I like it? And how can I change myself instead of trying to change the church to fit my beliefs? And so I think, like, learning from other people, having conversations with my community literally was the reversion. Like, learning that, just having conversations with people. And I think Nico was also very patient with me because I would tell him things and he's like, so yeah. I think this is why it's like this. And I'm like, well, I think it should be this way. It's like, I'm very surprised you're still my friend.
I don't remember.
Lord, we need to help this girl.
Yeah, a lot of prayers.
He goes like, this rosary's first.
Like these 10 right here. No, at least for part of my reversion, it started off with, like, self-study, and so, like, my search was, like, for the truth, and so I found the Catholic Answers website. Big credit to Catholic Answers.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Psychella and Tim Staples and all them. Jimmy Aiken, big time. And so, yeah, it was just, like, kind of like what Sam said, right? Like, we go into the world, especially in university, and we get introduced to all these ideas, and that's when the fall for me started to happen. It's just like, oh, like, I never heard these other ideas, and I never really had a foundation of, like, apologetics or, like, you know, why does the church teach all this stuff? And so finding that website and then reading through, like, answers to all the questions that I had had throughout life at that point when I had fallen away, it, like, satisfied me both on a reason level, but also in the heart, right? Because you can have something satisfy you on a reason level, but it could seem a little cold, you know?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And so with the church's teachings, it, like, filled that that void, I guess, of, like, heart. So that's how that started. And then once I was, like, decided to go back to church and make faith a part of my life again, that's when my ministry director, Becky, fished me in. Kept me in that. And then, yeah, the community that they had there, like I mentioned, is just, like, a lot of older grandparents, I guess you could say, whose kids had moved away from LA. And so it was just, like, older community. I was, like, the youngest person there. And so I started joining, like, the prayer groups that they had. And that was, like, it was nice because at that point I was just out of, like, a 5-year relationship. And I was, like, the reason for the break is that because I wanted to really pursue my faith. And, you know, there was differences in that sense. And so I was at that point, it was perfect because I was in this, like, cocoon of just, like, older ladies who are really devoted to their prayer.
So full of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they passed a lot of that, like, knowledge, that prayer life, that habit, all that. And they put me to work, obviously, too.
Yeah. That's what they're good at, man.
So, yeah.
I know Nico will send me pictures of like, oh look, I'm with my prayer group, and it's like him and like a bunch of old ladies.
Yeah.
Like,
Those are their powerhouses.
Dude, they are. Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I love that. It's adorable.
When I moved away, I grew up here, but I moved away for quite a few years, and it was difficult to find Catholic community where I was.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wanted, every time I went into a church, I was never bold enough to insert myself this way, but I always wanted to become friends with an older couple who would like somehow take me in, you know?
Yeah.
It was like a prayer that I did nothing about. But I would always look at those couples or the older women and like, oh my gosh, you are like such an inspiration and such a prayer powerhouse, and I need you in my corner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
so cool that you have that. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. And I will say that's like that was the inspiration, right? I was like, if practicing your faith, and kind of how Sam mentioned how Deacon said that prayer should be in every aspect. I was like, this like beautiful prayer life that I now have because of this like cocoon that I was in for a while with this prayer group. It was a bilingual prayer group too, so I got to practice my Spanish, which was great.
Nice.
Like I feel like every Catholic should have this be a part of it. Like it shouldn't just be for the old ladies. Like we need to bring this to like everyone, and so especially the young adult community. And so like their specialty in that devotion group was like first Wednesday to St. Joseph, first Friday to the Sacred Heart, and then first Saturday to Mary. And so I remember like I was just getting into like Canva and learning how to make like flyers. So I was like, oh, just like let's make a
lives.
Yeah, like literally simple as just like putting the information and just invite whoever, right? And so that's like to anywhere from all the other surrounding churches. So that's kind of how like the initial ideas of like a West LA Catholics sprung in my head too.
Yeah.
Like, so I think
I feel like the seed was planted in his head separately, and then I was like, oh, like, and then I was like, Nico, what do you think about this? And he was like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about this and about the West LA Catholic community. We should do it, and we were kind of like separately like thinking of it, and then we talked about it, and we're like, we need to create this community, like, we need this West LA Catholic circle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you find that most people who attend your events, most people in West LA, are transplants to that area, or do they have family in the area?
It's mostly transplants.
Which makes sense, and then there would be a greater desire for that faith community, that faith family, like you're talking about.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they come and they're looking, they're looking for, maybe they're looking for friends, maybe they're looking to actually deepen their faith. So yeah, it's a lot of mostly transplants, but I mean, I was born and raised there, so.
It was interesting because I went to one of my friends, he just went to seminary, and they had like a thing at a Santa Monica brewery for him. And I was like, and everyone there, I was like talking to everyone, and they're all Catholic, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm from Ohio, oh, I'm from the East Coast, I'm from here. I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, we're engineers here, or we're like in finance here. I'm like, dang, dude, that's crazy. Like, and I think that's also the reason why they have like a really big community. It's because they're searching for that group, right? And it's like, it was funny because I'm just like down there, and like they're just like this every guy who's like, yeah, any Catholic that's in here is either gonna be in finance, it's like finance, engineer, or like something that has to do with business. And it was like I was introducing myself to people, and I was like, you're an engineer, right? And this guy's like, yep. And I'm like, he's like, how'd you know? I'm like, this guy was right. Like I'm like talking. It's like
he's an engineer.
Yeah, that's like it's a big area for that, right? And I think that's also like why like Saint Monica's is like a really big group. It's because all that area is like finance, engineers, whatever. It's like they're at Boeing, they're at like Lockheed Martin, they're at like all these places that are down there, and like and so they all want to be in that area. So I mean, it's a beautiful Catholic community, like a lot of really, really cool people. So
it is. It's really, and they're very. One of the girls that are in our core team, but also she's one of the core people at St. Monica's. She's like, it's a really great conversion community. Like a lot of people come seeking community and they end up converting and she's like, and that's why St. Monica's is the patron saint of conversions.
That's dope.
And it's just beautiful. So cool. Yeah. And cool. It's so beautiful to see because it's true. And I'll even ask some people, I'm like, so how did you like become Catholic? Like, what's your story? And that's like a common question. And they're like, yeah, like I just was looking for community. I was a Protestant, and then like next thing you know, I'm converting because I just loved the community. I kept coming back, and
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, it's beautiful.
I went to an event last night, a young professional or Catholic professional event, Leonine Forum, shout out.
Yeah.
And it was cool. So cool. There's probably, I don't know, let's say 50. I'm bad at quantifying, but let's say 50 people. And the stories of the people I met, quite a handful of them, let's say I met 10 people, 5 of them, certainly half, were converts, whether it was from nothing or another religion or Protestant. And it was so cool that this whole room was full of all these people who, I mean, obviously being cradle Catholic is such a blessing, but I mean, we've had conversion stories on the podcast. I just find conversion stories so empowering because
they are.
It's these individuals who have, in their adulthood, in their age of reason, chosen the Catholic lifestyle, which objectively, well, is one that's more disciplined and harder and holding yourself to a higher standard.
It is.
It's so cool hearing these stories.
Yeah.
And all these people are just doing amazing things with their lives and totally mission driven, and it's let's go.
Yeah, and like you make a good point. Like being Catholic is not easy. Like I always say, sometimes I'm like, I see myself like about to go into temptation. Like no, it's like, okay, being Catholic is not for the weak. Like I always tell this to my sisters and like my family. Like being Catholic is not for the weak. If you want to be a good Catholic, like you have to really, reject yourself every day. Every day you have to reject yourself. Yep. And I remember when I first heard that, like, deny yourself, what does that even mean? Like, what do you mean? And then I understood, like, you have to really deny yourself, like your flesh, what you want, your desires, like, but it's beautiful because it's so rewarding and so fulfilling in the end.
For sure.
It saves you so much just messiness,
It's so interesting. I was listening to that Pints with Aquinas podcast with the Everts, and in it, basically, the entire message the Everts are trying to throw in, it's like, being Catholic is hard.
Yes.
It's a battle. Spiritual warfare is real.
Yes.
You're not like safe, or there's no relaxing, easing up until you're dead.
Literally.
This dude was like, this is such a harsh message, and somehow I feel so fired up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's literally, like, there's no relaxing.
It's so difficult, and we all have those times in the desert, and where we really are facing spiritual warfare of our own kinds, and it feels like, why is this? And then you hear these other people's testimonies. I'm like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. And like, this is how God's calling us closer to Him, is through this struggle, which is still a message that I have a difficult time. You can, like you're saying, understand something, but to feel it is an entirely different thing. And the beauty of surrender and sacrifice is still something that I wrestle with. But then you hear these stories, these people who are harping on it, and I get so proud of what we are. Even though it sucks at the same time.
A quote by Pope Benedict I always bring up, it's you weren't made for comfort, you were made for greatness. Right? And I think that's something with like both the ministries of Spirit of Lamb and then of West LA Catholics is like, you're going to be put into like really uncomfortable situations. Like you would say you want to do Eucharistic procession, in Venice, and like, that's tough. That's tough. That's
Trust
rough.
me, we know.
And like, so, and then like, it's like the conversations you have to have are hard, right? And it's like, and even as just like regular Catholic, you're just like, damn, how am I doing this? Sorry, damn, it's like, how are you doing this? It's like, I'm like SOL right now. It's like, how, like, this is hard. And it's supposed to be, and that's what's beautiful about it. It's like, like, it's like that. There's another quote. I like quotes. It's like not. It's like you don't know. Oh gosh. It's like you never know how good it feels to be at the top of the mountain until you feel how you are at the lowest of the valleys. And that's I probably messed that up, but but paraphrasing. But I mean, like, I feel it's admirable, right? We have to, like, we weren't made for this comfort. It's like, I feel like I know there's other like states that are like, have a great Catholic community, but I feel like California, especially in like Southern California, is like trying to fight against like spiritual warfare essentially, right? And trying to like, you have like this on firedness of like, Ventura County, LA County, I know it's not Southern California, but my cousin was up in San Francisco doing ministry up there, and they're on fire, right? And they're not bold, they're not necessarily bold about it, but they're not advertising to everyone in San Francisco, right? But it's like they have such a big community up there, and they're fighting for like, for God, for Jesus, and it's beautiful, right? And I feel like right now we're in a really, really cool time where it's like, you're getting up to that apex of having like really big Catholic communities and showing like that we're not scared to be here, right?
Yeah.
We're not being silenced because like the social norms and everything doesn't want us to talk about it. It's like, and like that Eucharistic procession is beautiful, right? It's awesome. And like they had a Eucharistic procession in LA, and like people are just like yelling at them. They're like people say stuff, and it's just like, dude, like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
so,
Nico's been to a few.
Yeah, so shout out to the Poor of Jesus Christ, friars and the sisters. They're in downtown, and they once a year will do a Eucharistic procession through Skid Row. And so I just I love that. I think it's so beautiful to just cater to that most needed community. They're down and out, either obviously physically, but also spiritually at times, mentally.
Yeah.
So they bring Jesus to them, in the monstrance with big following, big procession. You have people that are handing out miraculous medals, rosaries, food, just to like anyone who like pops their head out of the tent and just saying hello, smile. Just giving them that love of God. Is so moving, and so just to have like you said, to have that visibility. I know I forget what saint says it, but that Jesus is always waiting for you in the tabernacle very patiently. And it's like, well, let's bring him out to people also.
Not so patient now. No?
Yeah.
Here he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Out there for you.
So, and so and going back to the bonfire, I think that was kind of a big thing, is just having like that visibility of like, hey, like, it's okay to show your faith in a public setting, like have that comfort and support from other people, right? But like originally, I guess going back to like the nuts and bolts of all this, originally we were thinking of doing something on the beach, like a bonfire, like
that was the original plan like 2 years ago or a year ago.
We were gonna do like American Martyrs, because I think I forget whether it was American Martyrs or St. Lawrence Martyr in South Bay, but they're like really close to the beach, like a few blocks, right? So we're like, okay, we'll set up shop there, we'll do mass there, and then we'll just all walk to the beach. And then as like the logistics all started to happen, we're like, oh, this might be a little complicated, the parking and all this. So then we found El Segundo. I think you found El Segundo.
Yeah, I found like the park.
And there's literally a church right there, like 2-3 blocks away.
Yeah, super close. I think it was like a 5 to 10 minute walk almost.
Yeah.
It just worked out.
Yeah.
It's praise God.
And so, praise God. And so we get there, we do the mass, then we go to the park, and it's like a big old bonfire pit, and bigger than any beach one I think that we could have found.
Yeah, like it was perfect. It was meant to happen.
Yeah, and then you just have like, I don't know, that first year 50 to 70 people just sitting around the bonfire doing the rosary out loud, in this public space. And so I think it just empowers people to like...
and I think it's also a way to plant seeds in people who are watching, because... Like, I think a lot of people have a notion or idea that Catholics were crazy, and we're this, and we're that, and we're mean, and we're judgmental.
we are crazy. I don't know.
We're definitely
we are, yeah. I mean, you kind of have to be in order to be strong and firm in your belief and, like, take backlash and be willing to accept backlash from people. And so, having this bonfire, I feel like people can see it and seeing that we're just gathering peacefully we're just socializing. We're normal young adults. We're just like any other person. We just have, we just follow Jesus, and we do it through the Catholic Church. And there was a young adult community, or like there's like a young adult birthday party. Like there's like a birthday party there and at the bonfire, and they were young adults. They're like, in their 20s and 30s, and I was like, oh, like, by the way, like, we rented out this pit fire, like, we're having an event. They're like, okay, we'll move, whatever. They saw that we were a Catholic organization, so I feel like at first they were very, like, hesitant about us, like, who are, like, these people, like, da-da-da. But because we were so nice and welcoming, and we even welcomed them, we're like, you can join, like, our event if you want.
They're like,
And then later at the end, they were like, telling me, like, they're like, we can take the picture for you guys. And then at the end, they were like, I went to a Catholic school once, and, maybe I should look into it. And I'm like, yeah. And, when I converted, like, I thought I was gonna, like, when I, like, openly, like, was like, hey, I'm Catholic to all my friends, and, like, openly just talk about my faith. This was, like, maybe a year ago when I just became super open about it. I thought I was gonna lose like friends, and I thought like I'm prepared for this. I'm gonna probably lose people. People are probably not gonna want to talk to me anymore. They're probably gonna like shun me in public. Like I don't care. I'm just gonna go all in. And actually the opposite happened, which I was very surprised by. And, thanks be to God, but like my friends were like, wait, like I want to learn more. Like, can you pray for me? Can you pray over me? And, like some of my friends and people that I haven't talked to in a while, you see them after a while not seeing them, and they're like still super like friends with me, and they're like, oh, like asking me questions about church, and they're like, oh, now I started going to church because now I want to wear my Sunday outfit, and, and like I'm like, sure, that works.
Whoever needs to go.
But like it's just so beautiful to see like how someone's courage can spark some sort of interest or courage or desire in someone else, and you don't even realize what you're doing can actually make an impact, and you're just living, and in it people will see it and want to follow, I guess. And so
I think the power of living by example is well, I underappreciated it for a long time. I thought that if I were similar to you, I kind of hid my desire to grow deeper in Catholicism, or just my Catholicism in general, for a while, because I was afraid that if people knew, then I would immediately have to justify every single belief. And obviously we follow an objective truth, and I thought that I had to understand that objective truth thoroughly in order to withstand any argument, and therefore I am not that smart. And so then I just hid everything, because anyways, and so the older I get, maybe the more mature I get, I'm realizing that no, actually it's not necessarily my job to have to argue objective truths, rather just living by example is enough. And then and obviously living by example also holds us to a higher standard. And then if those questions arise, okay, I'm gonna go look at Catholic Answers or the Catechism, or look up like Bishop Barron, or let me get back to you on that, or try to answer to the best of my ability, while also saying, but you should look at other sources.
Fact check me.
Right. But to your point, the power of living by example, of realizing that we're just like normal people trying to figure this out. But we do feel this pull towards our Creator, and we're just trying to live it out to the best of our ability. Call us out on our stuff,
like that's the point, is call me out. Hey, if you think I'm a hypocrite, tell me, because that way I can fix it, right? Like we're all sinners. Like you may I think like another thing is like the difference between like people will say, oh, like you're a hypocrite, this and that, or like we'll say Catholics are hypocrites, and it's like you're only saying that because we're trying to be better, but sometimes we fall. Whereas if we were just straight up just like falling every single day of our lives, you wouldn't call us that. You would just say, oh, I'm accepting my bad behavior. But it's like, no, we're seriously every single day trying to be better. And like, yes, sometimes we fall, and to you that's being hypocritical. To us it's like that's just us being human. And so I think trying to tell people like, yes, there's flaws. That it happens. Sometimes we fall, and there's error, but that's like the whole point of trying to be better and being human. And so
I would for a while it helped me to basically tell myself I am a hypocrite. There's no way I am not a hypocrite, because I'm not. That I have a lot to learn, and obviously maybe I'll say things and act different ways that I just don't realize. But obviously that's why you have friends or family or other people to call you out on stuff. Like there's no way in which I will go through this life without being hypocritical at some point.
Oh yeah. 100%.
But like you're saying, it's that constant search to be or desire to be a better person.
So how did you start like Spirit Lamb? Like I am interested in how you kind of wanted to go all in with this, and how that journey played out for you.
This is our podcast.
He asked the question.
This is tip of them.
Well, I love hearing your guys' story, because it's so crazy, and I definitely need to bring this to prayer, but I think there is a way in which God's calling us together for a reason, because what you already have and what you're pursuing is identical in basically every aspect to what we are doing. And so I love meeting you guys and talking, because I think there's some way in which we can help each other's mission. But I started Spirit of Lamb 2 years ago, 2023. I moved back to Ventura 5 years ago, and instantly community was a huge part of my faith life. I grew up Catholic, but it was in college that my friends and I went to Thomas Aquinas, which is very Catholic, and the people there, the community, made me want to actually pursue, question who God is, what does it mean to be Catholic, am I really Catholic? And so I actually finally chose Catholicism for myself then, but obviously it's a continued journey. Yeah. So moving away from that really beautiful but very sheltered community meant that I was thrown into the gray world that we live in, and trying to figure out, am I called to live a black and white life, or are we called to live in the gray, and just kind of figure out what that meant. Anyways, so but I just need community. I need people to remind me of where I'm headed. I need inspiration. I need accountability. I need all those things. So when I moved back, I really wanted that community, Catholic community. And our area, similar to LA, has so many beautiful pockets. So many parishes have such strong young adult ministries. But it was hard to know what was happening unless you knew someone who knew someone. And it felt like there wasn't a lot of cohesion among the entire county. I'd say the Upper LA Archdiocese, upper region. That people seemed to know of each other, but there weren't those bigger events happening together. There didn't seem to be a lot of communication among these various groups. To the point where there were kind of conflicting events happening at the same day of the same nature. And in my mind, I just thought, we're all fighting the same fight. We're all in the same battle. And we can only benefit from seeing how other people, our peers, live out their faith life. Because we all live it out different ways. We all come from different backgrounds. And it's so beautiful to see how, like, the different pictures that the Lord paints through, like Grace Builds on Nature, through our lives, we all live out our faith different ways. And so can only learn from each other and be inspired by each other. So I really wanted to try to create that. How can we bring everyone together? And so it initially started, and I just love hosting. I love a good party.
Me too.
It's as simple as that.
We were talking about that earlier.
So first started with an idea of a website. I dabbled in WordPress, so I started a WordPress website. And the idea was, I knew of some events happening around the area, and so why don't we just put it all in one database? So like similar to your guys' desire, so that a young adult can look in one location and see everything that's going on, everything that is available for them. And then I just wanted to host some events, so I thought, like, let's get this ball rolling. So we started hosting 2 of our events that we still do monthly. And then as our calendar grew, as through networking, I met more young adult ministry leaders and more various groups. The calendars kept growing and growing, which was amazing. Nice. To the point where you see it, look on our website, and it's entirely full for the month.
Wow.
Which is, and with multiple events happening on days, it's beautiful.
And people still send events via Instagram too, where they're like, they'll send them out and be like, hey, like, we're doing this week. And like, 'cause they won't send us anything sometimes, and they'll be like, this is actually happened this week, and you will post on Instagram.
So we're gathering whatever's given to us, or we're just a part of a lot of chats and such to then take those events and promote them as well. And then that kind of also grew into a desire for collaboration and to host these like your bonfire, to host larger regional events, so that these young adult groups could meet each other. And I was reflecting on this on my drive, actually. The desire, I think our goal, and it's probably the same for you guys, is not necessarily to be our own niche social group, but rather to be a catalyst for potential relationship. And I mean that as friendship and maybe romantically. But that you hear in so many testimonies, the fellowship is so integral in someone's faith life. So if someone's going through a hard time, and they can list the friends that helps them in that moment. And so I was thinking, like, Lord, how can we spur more of those friendships? So the intent of our events, and similar for you guys, is just to create in-person experiences, so that those encounters can happen, those sparks can happen, so that two people meet for coffee later, because they met at one of our events. And the parish family is obviously integral to the church, and so that is still very important, how strong and intimate these young adult parish families are. but then to create a space where all of these groups can come together so that you meet new people, see how other parishes work. Because we're all fighting the same fight. Like, let's do it together.
Yeah, and that's like another thing is like seeing how other parishes work, you know, learning from them. I think that was like such a key thing, as well as like, you know, when we started the West LA Catholic thing, it was for, you know, the whole West LA Catholic parishes and community members, but it was also for our core team. Like, we needed some sort of support system because some of us are, you know, creating ministries from the ground up on their own, and and some ministries are thriving and they have like core teams and they're big. Like St. Monica's, they have a big team. And so, you know, just having a support system for everyone, just to be like, look, this is what's working for us, and how are you doing, and and it kind of has helped me keep, you know, our, like the St. Mark ministry in Venice, like accountable, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to do any events, but I'm like, everyone else is doing events, so I might as well do one too. So it's, you know, inspiring as well.
And it's probably, you guys have experienced this as well, no doubt, but you can sort of see, like the ball rolling, and this, like, when one group sees what's happening and someone desires an event, they see that there actually is a space for this event to be accepted. So we've seen so many new groups crop up and are doing amazing. Well.
That's what we're noticing as well. New Bible studies, or like new young adult ministries from different parishes who've never had a young adult group are now like just sprouting out of the grounds, and you're just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And the seminary in Torrance, they're gonna start a Bible study series.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna, I know I didn't tell you that part, but
surprise!
We're gonna add them to our map.
You heard it here first.
So we're gonna add them to our map, and they'll be part of our community as well. So Yahir will represent. Yahir is one of our seminarians. So so just so many. You just see the wildfire of the Holy Spirit. Reaching everyone and everywhere.
Right.
So, and that's kind of like where where the inspiration comes. It's like once you feel this like moment of desolation and you're walking through the desert and you see hope in everyone else, you're like, okay, there's still hope for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think that the running of St. Mark's Young Adult Ministry, which would be more that what I would define as like an intimate parish family, versus the running of West LA Catholics, are those different? Do you feel like you're putting two different hats on? Or you really are approaching both the same way?
You know what? I think the latter. I think I'm approaching both the same way in a sense. I think like the way I started the young adult ministry at St. Mark is kind of how I approached starting West LA Catholics. But I like the West LA Catholics because now I have like a team of people who are like, you know, all on the same boat as I am, who are also leaders, who are also, maybe they're thriving, maybe they're struggling, maybe they have questions, so we're all like a support system. So like now it's like, it's not just all on me, we're a team. And so that's, you know, a really big plus to the community. But how I approached it was kind of the same. Figuring out what our mission is and what our purpose is, and what we want the outcome and the objectives and our goals to look like for our future, and how can we get there starting today.
So talk about future plans.
So it's just a procession. I mean, that's some. We have so many things.
That is a big thing to tackle.
We actually have so many future plans that I'm like scared to talk about them. But
this is where you hold yourself accountable. You said it once to people, therefore you have to do it.
Yeah, and it's true. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so
doesn't mean there's necessarily a timeline.
Yeah.
It just means that it's out in the ether.
It would be okay. So this is like
potential to actual.
This is the potential of what would be nice.
Yeah.
Is if we have a procession and then we kind of use it as an opportunity for like media or like some sort of media coverage. Like maybe there's a few people who are, I mean, everyone in LA, a lot of people in LA are, you know, into filmmaking and media. So if we can find like Catholic filmmakers who, who are young adults who are willing to offer their time for free to like make like some sort of short documentary or something like that for the procession. That would be amazing. Mm-hmm. And then we can premiere that at like a gala at the end of the year, and that can be our way to fundraise because we do need funds. So like, you know, finding a way to raise money to keep doing this ministry because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money too. We were talking about this, like we didn't even realize like what goes into doing these things. You're like, let's just do an event. And you're like, oh shoot, this costs money.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. And so finding a way to like, you know, get money and fundraise to just keep the ministry going. Mm-hmm. Especially with the ambitious goals that we have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Just keep making events, like you said, that are helping to bring people together and just keep building that faith formation, but still have fun. You know, that's why we like the Eucharistic procession, but then we have a gala, and it's like, you know, that kind of
show our faith, get dirty on the streets, get our hands dirty, and you know, risk our lives. I mean, I don't want to say that, but and then we have like a gala where we can like look nice and show what we did. Mm-hmm. So the balance is very necessary.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think is the balance between social events and service-based events? Do you think that they are integral? Service events will obviously have a social aspect, or should ministries offer both separately? Because like you're sort of trying to cast the net and catch all of these different fish.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Nico?
Yeah, I mean, in the ministry that the prayer with the ladies, Becky, she's very good about getting free food. Mm-hmm. And so
that is a gift.
Yes, it's a big gift. And so she instilled it in my head, like, you know, you always want to feed people, you know, when they're doing, regardless of what the event is, whether it's prayer, whether it's service, whether it's you know, social. Mm-hmm. Try to have some sort of aspect to like, you know, cater to them in terms of like feeding them. Mm-hmm. So I know like one of the last events that we did, it was like a combo. St. Joan and St. Mark was
the prayer.
Mm-hmm, yeah, for the first week of November, we went to Holy Cross in Culver City, the cemetery, and we did a rosary to like pray for all the holy souls. And then after, like I made sure, okay, let's pick a restaurant to go to after, so that there's like a little bit of, so that we can have that space to like be in reflection, be in prayer, be focused on that relationship with God, and you know, and doing our duty of praying for the holy souls. But then after that, we can like, you know, have that time also to kind of interact and just reflect on everything that we experienced.
Mm-hmm. Do you mean like service as in like serving like?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It seems like we, like you're saying, it's so powerful. We're talking about an example. It's so powerful to be witnesses of our faith. Just in terms of how we live our day. Mm-hmm. But obviously it also seems powerful for us as the church to be seen publicly, like you're talking about the Eucharistic profession, publicly in acts of service and works of charity.
Yeah.
And so creating both of those opportunities in the ministry.
Yeah, I think that's something we're still working on because we've been talking about having like service days. I know, Nico, this is something that you've really been trying to get to do as well. And I know Brian, who's also in our core team, has been trying to do like service days. And I feel, and that's still something we want to do. I think we're just trying to figure out, okay, how can we incorporate, because service is actually really important. And, you know, the service days that we're looking at is like creating a breakfast or creating, like we're volunteering at like the St. Francis Center in downtown LA and serving breakfast to the homeless. And so like, yeah, that's something that we definitely want to start creating some sort of like presence there, and also just for our own sake, because there's a lot of people who are interested in that. And, you know, maybe they're not great at socializing and things like that and going to socials, but they want to serve, and that's their way of inserting themselves into the community.
Yeah.
And like creating that opportunity. So yeah, that's still something that we're still working towards. And I don't think it's necessarily exclusive. I mean, sometimes it can look that way, like service, and then you have your social events. But, I think that's a good seed you're planting in my head is like, how can
it's a seed in my head too. It's difficult to try to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm struggling with too. Is how can we incorporate both? We have a lot of social events, but how can we incorporate service? How can we show? How can it be part of our mission for the young adult community to unite and grow and then give back to the community?
Yeah.
How do we do that at a programmatic level? Does that mean that we're hosting service days, which is an excellent idea? Does that mean that we're somehow instilling in our community a call to action? How do we do that? Obviously, it starts with us first, but as leaders. But it's interesting. I was curious if you guys had tackled that problem as well. Cause,
do you mean like at the West LA Catholics level, or do you mean like in the individual ministries? Because I feel like each ministry individually for each of the parishes do a good job of like service. So like St. Paul's will do like outreach to the homeless. They'll do like a house building every so often.
That's so cool.
Yeah, St. Monica's routinely does service also. So at least on so far where we've gotten is that we make sure to highlight like those service opportunities.
Yeah.
Also. But in terms of like as West LA Catholics doing like a specific event for service, that's still something we're trying to figure out. Because we have talked about it. I think Brian kind of pitched like, okay, let's show up to feed people at Skid Row at like 6 a.m, right? So on a grander level, as to make it like a West LA Catholics specific event, still working on that.
To be determined.
To be determined.
Future dreams.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But each of the individual ministries are doing a good job.
Yeah,
at that level.
I would say so. Yeah, and there are opportunities to serve in West LA, and they're posted in the different ministries and on our calendar. So. Yeah, so there are opportunities, and that's what the calendars there is for, is to kind of highlight them. But yeah, I guess figuring out how can we initiate that on our own? Good question.
I think one of the thoughts was to do a toy drive, right? Like
that one was hard because we're trying to figure out there's just so many details that go into things.
All the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, right. So like trying to figure out how can we iron out all this stuff within 1 month. These details in 1 month.
Yeah, which ideally would be partnering with another program that's already doing it. I think that's something we're struggling with is what programs are in our area that we could partner with. And particularly volunteer or service opportunities that can allow for 10 to 20, 30 people. Because a lot of those opportunities, it's a food pantry and they really only need 3 people. Or what they really need are drivers who take food to the elderly, but that's obviously requires 1 person. So we can advertise all of these opportunities, but it makes sense in order to spur that, to provide further opportunity for young adults would be around a social event. 2 birds with 1 stone. But then what are the actual opportunities out there for a larger group of people?
That's what we were thinking too, is like, how can we were like, what if we do like a paint and sip and drop off a toy for a toy drive? But then Brian was like, have you ever been to the St. Francis Center? I don't think there's a paint and sip available.
Not a paint and sip friendly place.
And I was like, okay, maybe you're right. And like, it's good because I need to get exposed to the reality of things. Not everything is glamorous. But I guess, finding a way to create, like, have a social element to service. Yeah, let
me know what you find.
And I feel like it's also different for you guys because you're in Ventura, so that looks different. Like, on our side in LA, we need, 20, 30 people to help out with food pantry and things like that. And so over here, I feel like it's a smaller community, or the communities that even though regionally it's like big, it's a small amount of people. So
everything's pretty spread out.
It's more of the sense that the older Catholics are already doing it. So there's especially like with mini meals, we have a thing called mini meals, and like or like they go down to like the river bottom here in Ventura. Like they go. There's a lot of I was actually quite surprised because I'm a middle school teacher, and so I get time off. And during the summer, my dad's like, hey, like, you want to come down with me to go feed the homeless? I'm like, cool. And I get down there, and there's I can't say they're old, but they're older. Like, my dad's 70, but there's a lot, and it's like, there's at least 30 or 40 of them down there, like, giving out food, and I'm like, dang, but it's also, midday, and it's like, who young adult can go out there midday that doesn't have a job that lets them do that? But it's like, I feel like in this county, a lot of the older people do it, and then like the younger ones are like, they got that, right? Which it doesn't need to be like that. And I feel like that's something that we can tap into, but like a lot of the older people in this area, it's their thing, right?
Yeah,
like it's almost like when you go to church and you sit in someone's pew and they dog you, right? And
so
you're like,
funny how that's
like,
a thing.
Yeah.
I intentionally go to different pews each time I go to mass.
Yeah.
Well, like
Just shake
people
things up.
like I've actually had older people come up to me like, hey, that's my pew. Can you like go somewhere else? Yeah.
Crazy.
And like, it doesn't make me upset. I'm like, I've been like that, right? I'm not like a church hopper. I can't do that.
Our day will come.
Right? But like the thing is like, I think it's harder for us to go out and do that because it's like, all the older people are doing it and they get really protective of that kind of stuff, right? Even though sometimes the older people are like, we want to see you guys out there. It's like, okay, we're out there. What do you need us to do? And they're like, but like, they're always searching for help. It's just like, there's, like you said, there's limited.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's like, LA's a different beast in itself, right? But it's like there's still people out here like are trying to get help for the things that we need.
Yeah, which goes back to I love your idea, and we've had a subsequent similar idea of creating those pockets. So it's all about, similar to your mission, our mission is all about strengthening and growing the young adult community within a locale. It's a fun word. Yeah. Because it really is, because we ought to be focusing on service in our own community and meeting other people in our own community, and obviously driving time and traffic plays a role.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask, you talked about prayer as a foundation of your pillars. And so what does prayer look like in terms of your team culture or West LA as a whole? And have you consecrated your ministry to any saints? Do you have a saint prayer team, as it were? Do you have a spiritual director? What's that
We
look like?
should
that
have.
sounds good.
That's a good. I was actually thinking about that. We should have a chaplain, huh?
Yeah.
We should get our ministry blessed, have a chaplain, like formalize that part of it. But I will say this: we do begin and end our meetings in prayer, and that's like the bare minimum. I guess. But yeah, so we begin all, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
All these things I will caveat with are ideas that we've had.
Yeah.
And still need to work on. To work towards.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having a chaplain would be good.
Yeah, the presence, I've heard from multiple people, and it makes sense, that the presence of religious among young adult community at your events, obviously in prayer, but also physically at your events, physically push out on your team, speaks volumes, and it's really powerful.
Yeah.
So that's something I've been also taking more into prayer.
Yeah. When we had our bonfire, we always invite the priests. So.
And they show up.
Yeah, and they'll show up.
Free food, dude. Come on.
I know. Yeah.
There's free food there.
The first year we had 3 priests there, right? I think and then this last year.
It was just 2, but. No, more. I don't remember. But one of them spoke. He wanted to speak about vocations, and he wanted to.
Was it Father Louis Reyes?
Yeah.
It was Father Louis. I love Father Louis. He went to UCSB, right?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, he went to UCSB. He said it was like a party or something.
Oh, he did say that.
I love Father Louis.
That's right. Yeah,
he did say that.
Yes.
He was like, I went to UCSB, and he got yours, and then I was like,
yeah.
I love him, man. He's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny. He's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I guess I would say we don't have an official chaplain, but we do have like low-key.
Yeah, we have people supporting us. Yeah, Father Albert and Father Louis, they're big supporters of us.
Yeah, which is so great.
Yeah, and so I think it would be super cool if Father Louis became our chaplain, because he's like the LA Vocations director. And he, like, I always tell him, I'm like, hey, we gave you 3 seminarians. Like, where's the payback?
And the seminarians roll deep when they come to.
Oh yeah, and sometimes they'll come to our events, and like sometimes they come to our Bible study at St. Mark. I'm like, damn. I'm like, do the whole seminary come here?
It is so fun. Seminaries, the presence of a seminary, just getting to know them more is so powerful.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's sometimes a misconnection or misunderstanding that priests are like other beings.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with this way. Like, I couldn't they scared me because they were instilling it. Same with sisters. Like they're just gonna look in my soul and realize that I'm a sinner. That I don't know what I'm doing. So not true. So the more that they come around, particularly seminarians who are fun and young and just seeking out Jesus. Like more intimacy with God. You're like, oh my gosh, we're all in the same journey, and you're just given these special graces to be a vessel and to bring Jesus down on the altar. But at the end of the day, we're just all trying to figure it out.
We literally, and having those relationships is so important. Like, I remember one time I like texted one of my one of the seminarians, and I was like, is this a sin? If I lie for this, and that, and he's like, that's a great question. And we like really unpacked it, and I was like, I need to know if I should confess it or not.
That's so helpful.
It's a life I know. Ask Google. No.
Ask Truthfully AI.
Truthfully AI.
So having those friendships is like, really key to your own spiritual journey, and I assume like that they enjoy those friendships as well. I would hope. But
Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Is there any other thoughts that we have? I have a final question that's unrelated to everything we talked about. Advent, give us Christmas family traditions. One that you're both separately looking forward to in Advent or for Christmas.
Something that we do, at least at our parish, that our parish has all the families do in their domestic church, is write like in chalk on your door like frame, like what is it? It's like 20 plus.
Yeah, it's the blessing over
for the new year.
Yeah. It's through the door frame, so you're blessed when you come in.
Nice.
I believe that's what it is. I'm probably wrong, but
it's like it's for the new year. It's like
a
tradition. What is it called? It's like
the Santa Epiphany
blessing.
Yes, the Epiphany blessing.
Of course, Nico knows.
Yes.
I was like,
we're all learning.
I know. So what about you?
So it's pretty cool actually. This past Sunday I was at my parents' place, and growing up, like we would do Advent like family prayer time on occasion, but it seems like they're making it more a part of their thing. Like like they set up the Advent wreath on the dining room table, and they're like, before I left, like they were like, oh, before you leave, like make sure let's all do the Advent prayer together.
That's dope.
Awesome.
So like we blessed the
so
Advent wreath, and so it's really cool. Just I think I guess going personal a little bit. It's just like my parents have always been going to church, but I think seeing like my reversion and my fervor that I have now has inspired them to like go even further also.
Awesome.
And we're like going back and forth, like of supporting each other in a family level, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So just like they were adamant about it because they brought it up like 3 different times. Okay, before you leave, let us know because we want to do that and prayer with you. And I was like, yes, that'd be cool.
That is so cute.
That is so cool. That's so special.
It is, yeah. So, and then I noticed your Advent, the taper candles, like the first one always goes down super fast.
Yeah.
So this year I made sure to buy pillar ones because I was like, I had it lit for like a good 3 or 4 hours. Like, when was it, yesterday or the day before? And me and my roommate were just like, we're praying and chatting, and so, pillar candles.
Or you need to buy multiple ones just to...
swap them out.
Yeah. Michael's has pillars. For sure. And they're, what are they? They're, I forgot the scent, but it was like really good. And then also at my parish, they're really big on like novenas and devotions. So right now we're in the middle of a Virgen de Guadalupe novena. So we're going to the church every day praying the rosary and special Guadalupe prayers. And then there's a big Filipino community, so we do Simbangabi also. And a lot of the parishes locally have Simbangabi. So we'll always like travel around as a group. Like we're St. Joan and we're here, we're going to go visit St. Timothy, or we're going to go visit this other one. And so it's always exciting.
That's awesome.
That's this time of year.
Yeah, that sounds pretty great. What about you, Don?
My mother's gonna be like, "Why don't you say this?" Mine's I guess more shallow, but I mean like not shallow. Hang on, I didn't think of the right words. Traditionally, it's like just having family over. It's community. It's like remembering, sort of. I remember we haven't gone to a midnight mass in a really long time, but it's like once family was away, I think it's just more about being together. So that's really nice. Traditionally, my dad would make what are they called? Is it buñuelos?
Oh yeah, those
Yeah,
are
I didn't like either.
Are you Mexican?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
what?
nice.
What? Are you full Mexican?
What?
Are you full? Oh, half? Okay.
So my dad does that on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So it's like it's really good. So that's something that's traditional. I don't know. I think for as like we got older, like my parents got more involved in the church, and so like every year I think it's just a tradition that we go and they with their friends they cut out like a nativity, like those big wooden ones that people do, and they're flat but they do like the paintings on them and stuff. Every year my dad and I and the group will go put them up at church, and it's not, we don't put them up at the front lawn, they go on top of like this like pillar area that's like actually like 20 feet up, and you have to take a ladder up there and stuff, and those things aren't light, but I think that's like, I think it's just something that's like symbolic of like the season, right? It's like it's like sacrificing some stuff. It's like going through that labor, and like it's like welcoming Jesus into like your room and or to your heart or whatever it is. So, but yeah, I guess traditionally like Bumelos, but then like everything else, it's like Catholic. It's like okay,
Yeah.
So yeah, most people don't know I'm Mexican, or half at least. I just like a big white dad.
Would one of you like to pray us out?
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Yes, I will. All right. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, we thank you so much for this opportunity to gather here today to just to share with each other, to talk about how you have been moving in our life, and that flame that you have put in us, that desire that you have put in us to continue building up your church, to build up your community, especially of young adults. We're just so grateful that you have allowed us to participate in this great plan that you have. And we ask that you send your Holy Spirit down upon us to continue to guide us as we go forward in all of our endeavors. Help us to discern what is your will. Help us to just to give us the strength and the perseverance, especially through the times where it seems like we've hit a wall. As we continue in this Advent season, help us to find ways to prepare our hearts for your arrival, to reminisce on your incarnation and the beautiful gift of your death and resurrection, so that we might have the opportunity to be with you for eternity. Help us to always keep eternity in mind, so that we may be inspired to always follow you and deter us from falling away. We ask this in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, and we pray, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was great.